Hello guys, this is Dark Fox Sage 2 and we are back with our new fanfic, which is what if Council decides to put Naruto in relationship with multiple KONOICHI Part 2. And if you enjoy this fanfic, then please press the like button and please subscribe to the channel. It motivates me to upload more fanfic like these for you all. Now let's start the fanfiction. It's about time. I've been itching to kick your ass, Sasuke said with a grin as he walked up to his sensei. Don't get too cocky, kid, Kakashi said. Sasuke smirked as he got into his stance and stared at his sensei. 2 meters, that's my best range. If I am further than that, I won't have nearly as much success. But that guy is a Junin, which means he's an elite and thus won't let me get close to him easily, which means I'll have to find a way to close the distance, Sasuke thought. Uchiha Sasuke. His strength and speed are above that of a normal genin and his taijutsu is said to be the top of his class. If he wants to achieve maximum damage, then he'll have to get close to me, probably about 2 to 3 meters at best, and he probably already knows I'm not going to let him get that close so easily, Kakashi thought. Here I come, Sasuke yelled out and started to do some seals and then reared back as he breathed in, Kaden. Gukyaku no Jutsu, Grand Fireball Technique. Sasuke yelled out and fired a huge fiery blast at Kakashi. Raiden. Musei Raiko no Jutsu, Lightning Release, Silent Lightning Technique. Kakashi whispered as the fireball engulfed him. Not bad for a fire jutsu, Naruto said. But do you think he got Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked. Not a chance, Naruto replied with a smirk, and on cue, Kakashi was nowhere to be found. Where is he? Sasuke thought as he looked around for his sensei, and then he quickly ducked as Kakashi was behind and tried to hit him with a right roundhouse kick to the head. Good reflexes. Oh wait, this isn't good at all, Kakashi thought as he realized something. You're in my range, Sasuke said with a grin and then unleashed a volley of punches at Kakashi, who was forced to block. I was careless. I thought I could have had him with my silent lightning technique, which allows me to use lightning chakra to cloak myself and thus allowing me to move unnoticed. But in reality, it was part of his trap. He knew he couldn't close the distance, but he knew I could close the distance. So in actuality, he anticipated that I would evade his previous technique and try to counter him at close range, Kakashi thought as he analyzed the string of events. Ryu Senpuu, Dragon Hurricane. Sasuke yelled and jumped in the air and throws 2 spinning kicks at Kakashi, who was able to block them. I'm not done yet. Dragon Cutter. Sasuke yells and then brings his right leg down like an axe and strikes Kakashi upside the head with it. No way. Sasuke got Kakashi-sensei, Sakura said, surprised. No, he missed, Naruto countered. Sakura looked confused for a second until Kakashi turned into a piece of log. Kawarini, Sakura said in surprise. Shit, where is he? Sasuke cursed angrily as he looked for his sensei. Behind you, Kakashi simply said as he reappeared behind the Uchiha and then connected with a kick to the ribs, knocking the boy away. He was able to twist his body a bit in order to lessen the blow of my kick. Impressive, Kakashi thought as he saw his student get back up. Damn it all, I can't hit him, Sasuke said as he got up, grunting in pain from the kick. So far, Sasuke, I'm not impressed. Your report said you were the best in taijutsu in your entire class, even surpassing the Inakusa and Akamichi heirs, who both come from clans who possess tremendous aptitude for taijutsu, but it looks to me as if the reports, which I am not surprised since the Uchihas were always better at ninjutsu than taijutsu, Kakashi explained. Don't get too comfortable, sensei. I was just warming up, Sasuke said with a smirk. Baka, Kakashi replied with a glare, surprising his student. In the world of the shinobi, one doesn't have time to play around in combat. When 2 people fight, they usually fight to the death, and in those situations, it's the one who strikes the quickest that wins. Playing around will only allow your opponent more time to live and also more time to adapt to your strategy until they find a way to kill you even though they should have been dead a long time ago. Kakashi explained. Fine, if you want me to go all serious then that's what I will do. Hyakyaku, swift leg, Sasuke said and then instantly reappeared behind Kakashi before anyone could register it. He's so fast now, Sakura exclaimed. But what is that technique? Naruto asked. Kakashi turned around and prepared to block Sasuke's incoming left hook when the former disappeared again and reappeared in front of Kakashi and delivered a sweep kick. Fortunately, Kakashi was able to flip away to avoid, but as soon as he stood back up, Sasuke was right behind and threw a Ryu Senpu which Kakashi was able to block. Sasuke then puts one to the ground to keep from falling to the ground and then shot his left foot up to try to knock Kakashi in the air from under his chin, but the Junin was able to back up slightly to avoid the blow. An opening, Kakashi said as he then threw a right hook at Sasuke who jumped back to avoid the blow but then was stunned by an unknown force which then allowed Kakashi to knock him back about 5 meters with a roundhouse kick to the face. What the hell was that? It was as if I was shocked by some electric force or something. Sasuke thought as he stood back up. That movement technique, did you create it all by yourself? Kakashi asked. Yeah, I did, Sasuke replied. It's pretty impressive for someone from the academy. You basically stomp on the ground 4 times and use that momentum along with chakra activity to make you move that fast, as if you magically disappear, like Shunshin no Jutsu but faster. Kakashi said. It's definitely faster than my K's Shunshin no Jutsu, that's for sure. Naruto said. I knew Sasuke was good at taijutsu but never this good. Sakura said. I always knew that. However, what I want to know is how Kakashi was able to paralyze Sasuke without even touching him. Naruto said. And that taijutsu, you trained with Maida Guy, haven't you? Kakashi asked. Yes, and despite his freakish attitude and even freakier student, he is one hell of a teacher. Sasuke answered. Achoo. Maida Guy sneezed while in the midst of training with his team. What's wrong, Guy-sensei? Lee asked. Oh nothing, for some strange reasons, someone has mentioned me. Guy answered. Could it be that they are thanking you for influencing them with your flames of youth, sensei? Lee asked, ecstatic. Of course, that is the only explanation. They were so touched by my flames of youth that they spoke my name as a way to thank me. You're such a genius, Lee, that's why you're my precious student. Guy said, and then tears started to stream down from his face. Guy-sensei, Lee said, also with tears streaming down his face. Lee. Guy replied and then both teacher and student hugged each other as for some unbelievable reason, a sunset appeared in the background along with water waves. Why did we have to be stuck with these two morons? Neji asked, embarrassed by the way the teacher and student were acting. Because someone hates us and wants us to suffer. 10-10 answered and they both sigh. This time, you're mine. Sasuke said and then disappeared once more and then reappeared right in front of Kakashi, and before the latter could react, Sasuke fired a point-blank fireball at him, engulfing him. Great job burning up our sensei, Sasuke. Naruto said. Oops, maybe I did go a bit too overboard. Sasuke said, laughing nervously. Raiden. Raigaken lightning release. Lightning Fang Fist. Kakashi as he was coming from above with his left fist engulfed in electricity. Sasuke was able to dodge it to his right and Kakashi ended up punching the ground, leaving a big hole. You're in my range again, sensei. Sasuke said with a grin as he was about to hit Kakashi with a roundhouse kick only for Kakashi to bring his left fist upward from the ground and then smack Sasuke in the face with a left hook uppercut, knocking the boy back about 8 meters. Thought you had me didn't you, Sasuke? Kakashi asked. Yeah, I could imagine you being a burned corpse by now. How the hell did you escape my fireball from point-blank range? I even used it in combination with Hyakyaku technique. Sasuke asked, frustrated. It's simple really. I was able to read your seals while you were performing your high-speed technique and thus allowed me to react accordingly. Kakashi said. No way. You were able to actually keep up with both my sealing speed and movement speed. Sasuke asked in disbelief. Precisely. It was not a bad tactic to be honest, but if your opponent can read your seals then they can anticipate your technique and thus react accordingly. Kakashi said. That makes sense, but one thing I need to ask. How were you able to paralyze me without even landing a blow on me in our previous exchange? Sasuke asked. Because of my lightning chakra, of course. Kakashi said as he emitted electricity around his right hand. Of course, electricity can not only shock but also paralyze a person's body, rendering them immobile. Sakura said. And of course, I mask that electricity with my chakra in order to make it invisible to the human eye so that way you wouldn't notice my trick. Kakashi said. So you're not just a person with chronic tardiness, huh, Kakashi-sensei? Naruto said. Anyway, Kakashi said, ignoring Naruto's smart comment with great restraint, you've passed this exam. You showed great capacity in becoming a genin and that is what I wanted to test. Now up next is Sakura-chan. Kakashi said. Me? Sakura asked, nervous. I do believe we only have one Sakura in our team. Kakashi said. Don't worry Sakura-chan, you'll be just fine. I mean if Sasuke Baka here could go toe-to-toe then someone much smarter than him can easily do the same. Naruto said grinning as he knew he had earned a glare from the Uchiha heir. If Naruto-kun believes in me, then that means I can do it. Sakura thought as she gained her resolve and then walked up to her sensei. Then, Kakashi jumped back a couple of meters to put even more distance between them. Why did Kakashi just do that? Sasuke asked. It's because Sakura is a genjutsu-type shinobi. The maximum range for a genjutsu is about 10 meters exact and so for Kakashi to avoid falling into one, he decided to stay out of that range. Right now, he's about 13 meters from Sakura. Naruto explained. But wait a minute, genjutsu is simply an illusionary technique that confuses the five senses, right? So why the need for distance? Sasuke asked. Because genjutsu requires the caster to emit chakra from their body into the opponent's body to take effect. By staying away from the caster, you have a higher chance of evading that chakra flow. Naruto explained. Ready, sensei? Sakura asked. Ready as I'll ever be. Kakashi replied. No matter what genjutsu it is, she'll never be able to hit me with it. A genjutsu's maximum distance is 10 meters at best and the distance between me and her is approximately 15 meters. Kakashi thought but then his eyes widened as Sakura dissolved into Sakura petals and then he found himself in a forest full of Sakura petals on the ground and Sakura trees. What in the world? She got me with a genjutsu from that distance. But how? Kakashi thought and he then tried to cancel the genjutsu but found himself stuck in it. I can't release the genjutsu. Kakashi thought. Suddenly, petals flew around him and started to cut him in the arms and legs. Kakashi tried to cancel the genjutsu again and again as he avoided the petals but found himself unable to do so. This genjutsu is unlike anything I have seen so far. Usually, the maximum range for a genjutsu is 10 meters at max and hence why I distanced myself to an exact distance of 15 meters. And also, I made sure not to look at her eyes in case it was an eye-induced genjutsu and made sure to watch out for anything that would reveal the genjutsu. I took all of the precautions and yet I was caught in her genjutsu and what's worse is that I can't release it. Kakashi thought but then his eyes widened as he realized something. Flashback. Ready, sensei? Sakura asked. Ready as I'll ever be. Kakashi replied. End flashback. She caught me as soon as she said those words, that was the activation for her genjutsu. Kakashi thought as he figured out what happened. Okay, let's review this. Her genjutsu is obviously longer than most genjutsus and she activated it via her voice. Also, this genjutsu can't be cancelled like any other genjutsu, which means that in order to cancel it, I have to find the caster and weaken or defeat them. As we speak, she is probably hiding in a spot in order to attack my weak point and defeat me, which means I have to fish her out now. Kakashi thought, and he then closed his eyes and electricity started to emit from his hands. Not too far from Kakashi's location, Sakura was behind a tree as she was observing her sensei. He doesn't seem to be doing much in terms of movement, but should I attack now? I could, since I have the advantage, but what if he has built up his defenses already? I could be walking right into a trap, but if I don't do anything, he'll find me sooner or later. I have no choice, I have to attack. Sakura thought and then started to silently walk from tree to tree and then transformed into a flurry of sharp petals that flew and surrounded Kakashi and kept cutting him. Then Sakura's right arm came out of the flurry of petals with a kunai in hand and pointed to Kakashi's neck. It's over, Kakashi-sensei, Sakura said. Suddenly, Kakashi then turned into a piece of log, surprising Sakura, and before she knew it, Kakashi grabbed her arm and pulled it, effectively canceling her transformation, and then pointed a kunai to her throat. Cancel the genjutsu now or else, Kakashi warned her. Damn, I have no choice. He has the advantage now, Sakura thought, and then cancelled the genjutsu. It looks Sakura-chan was able to hit Kakashi with a genjutsu from beyond the normal range. Naruto said. I wonder how though, Sasuke said. That genjutsu you used was incredible. Not many people used genjutsus of that nature, and the way you activate it was pretty clever and its range is also incredible. Kakashi said. Thank you, sensei. However, how did you know I was going to attack? Sakura asked. By using my Raiko Harem, lightning wire. Kakashi said. Lightning wire? Sakura asked. I basically manipulated my lightning chakra and turned it into thin electric wires that are extremely hard to see via the eye. All a person has to do is slightly touch them and it will automatically warn me of an incoming enemy. You probably felt a small shock on your way to my location, right? Kakashi asked. Come to think of it, I did, but it was so minuscule that I paid no attention to it. Sakura said. And that small shock was my wire. I then placed a Kawarini trap and hid myself using my Musei Raiko no Jutsu until I had a clear shot at you. Kakashi explained. Okay then, let's try another tactic. Sakura said. That's enough for now, Kakashi said, interrupting the girl. What do you mean? I barely did anything and I have so many other techniques to try. I mean, I studied all of those books for this test. Sakura said as she pulled out dozens of books from her book bag, causing the others to look at her wide-eyed. How many books do you own, Sakura? Sasuke asked, flabbergasted. Let's see, about 300. Sakura answered. 300, the others exclaimed. I know, it's not enough, is it? Sakura asked. It's more than enough, the others exclaimed. Anyway, Sakura, your skills with that genjutsu showed me all I needed to know, and the fact is that you have passed the first test as well. Kakashi said. Up next is the smart ass. Kakashi said as he now turned his attention to Namikaze Naruto. About time. By the way, Sakura-chan, great job on the genjutsu, Naruto said to the girl as she was returning to her spot. Wish me luck, guys, Naruto said and then walked toward Kakashi. Now, I finally get the chance to see what the son of Sensei can do. Kakashi thought, with a hint of anticipation and pride as he saw the living legacy of his sensei in the flesh. If he is truly like Sensei, then he has used the bouts with his teammates as scouting reports on my abilities and formulated strategies to counter them. Kakashi thought. Hatake Kakashi, despite being good at taijutsu, he's a ninjutsu type shinobi, and with the jutsus he has used so far, and also, he has strong defensive jutsus and offensive jutsus on top of that, and what's worse is that I don't know his exact range. It seems I only have one course of action, Naruto thought, and then did the seal for the Kage Bushin and created 3 clones. Kage Bushin. Kage Bushin is a Junin level ninjutsu that has three purposes. 1. To overpower the opponent with mass numbers. 2. To gather information on the opponent. 3. To use it as a diversion to create an opening. Now, let's see which way he goes. Kakashi thought. Okay clones, let's do it. Naruto said, and he, along with the clones, dispersed themselves. Suddenly, one of the clones dashed toward Kakashi. Ninpu. K's Yeba ninja art. Wind blade, the first clone yelled and then created a wind that came in the form of a sword and tried to slash Kakashi with it, but Kakashi was able to dodge the hit. Raiden. Reigaken no Jutsu. Kakashi yelled and then knocked the clone back about 10 meters with an electric right punch to the gut. He's making his clone stay longer than usual. Kakashi thought as the clone did not disappear. Fuden. K's Haoshi no Jutsu. Wind element. Wind wave pressure, the second clone said as he unleashed a blast of hot air at Kakashi with his left hand. Raiden. Reigaha no Jutsu, lightning release. Lightning fang wave technique. Kakashi said and then swiped his right upwards and unleashed a wave of lightning that traveled through the ground and cancelled the clone's technique. Fuden. Shippu ha no Jutsu, wind release. Hurricane wave technique. The third Naruto clone yelled and then unleashed a hurricane from his right fist at Kakashi, who jumped up in the air to avoid it. Now I've figured it out. He's a mid-range fighter. I used my Kage Bushin to test each possible range with a different jutsu, and even though he was able to counter my close range and mid-range attacks, he wasn't able to counter my last attack, or rather, he couldn't effectively. Ninjutsu can be executed from any range, but however, if they are executed away from their best range then they become much weaker, and if he was long range then he would have no problems pulling out a jutsu to counter my last jutsu at the distance between my clone and him, which means he is not effective at long range. And while he used a close range jutsu to defend against my first clone, his strongest jutsu was the one he used against my second clone, and thus proves he is a mid-range fighter at best. The problem is that I'm mid-range too, and also he is stronger than me, but I can still win. Naruto thought. Okay clones, use whirlwind formation. Naruto said and the clones nodded. They then quickly started to move randomly around Kakashi at high speed while Naruto went through some seals. What is he planning with those clones? Kakashi thought. Fuden. K's Haoshi no Jutsu. Wind element. Wind wave pressure, Naruto yelled and fired off his technique once again. Kakashi tried to dodge it only to get kicked in the back by one of the clones. Now I see what he's trying to do. He recognized my best range as a mid-range type, and he also recognizes that he is one as well but weaker than me. So, he's using those clones to keep me from moving, like a fence, and also on my toes, so I don't have time to use jutsus to counter while he keeps on attacking me from a safe distance. That's a sick way to fight someone. Kakashi thought. It looks like Naruto may be able to win against Sensei. Sasuke grinned. You think so? Sakura asked. Raiden. Daichi Raiko Dageki no Jutsu, lightning release, ground lightning shock technique. Kakashi yelled as he then slammed his right hand onto the ground and unleashed electric waves that stunned Naruto and his clones. When Naruto finally regained his senses, he felt a kunai behind him. I win. Kakashi said behind Naruto. I wouldn't be so sure, Sensei. Naruto said, from behind Kakashi as the one in front of Kakashi disappeared. Trust me kid, I'm sure. Kakashi said, from behind Naruto as the other Kakashi was also a clone. Let me guess, you created a clone while I disoriented from your attack and then used that clone to come up behind my clone while you hid with that cloaking technique of yours, right? Naruto asked with a smirk. Yes I did, though I am impressed with how fast you were able to create another clone. And also, that first exchange was a way to find my best range, wasn't it? So that way you knew how to attack me, right? Kakashi asked. Exactly. Naruto said. Good enough. You have also passed the first test. Kakashi said, "Alright team, you've passed the first exam and now you must pass the second one. I call it the bell test." Kakashi said as he then took out two bells tied together. Bells? The three genins exclaimed quizzically. Yep, bells. The objective for this test is to simply get the bells from me and you pass. Kakashi said sternly. But Kakashi-sensei, there's only two bells. Doesn't that mean one of us will not pass? Sakura asked. Of course. There one who did not get the bell will be sent to academy regardless of the fact that you passed the first test, understood? Kakashi said sternly, causing the genins to gulp. Begin. Kakashi says and all three genins hide into the forest. So they've hidden themselves, not bad. Now, if they can see underneath then they will truly be my team. Kakashi thought. Well, in the meantime, let me start reading the masterpiece of all masterpieces. Kakashi said and then pulled an orange book from his pouch. He started to read it and giggle like a little girl. This test is ridiculous. He already knows we can't beat him even after throwing at him everything we could and yet he wants us to get the bells from us. And not only that but there are only two bells which means one of us will fail anyway. No. There has to be a point to this test or else he wouldn't have wasted his time with this, but what is it? Naruto whispered as he racked his brain to come up with the answer while observing Kakashi. Damn it, if he only had a bigger brain than I. That's it, Naruto said as he figured it out, and then left his position. It seems Naruto has it figured out. Kakashi mentally noted as heard the genin move within the forest. Naruto continued to move through the trees until he was able to find Sasuke. Sasuke, I need your help. Naruto said to the Uchiha. My help? For what? Sasuke asked, confused that Naruto would need help. Listen, this test is about teamwork, not about individual skills. Naruto said. Teamwork. Sasuke repeated. Yes. Think about it, can we really beat him one-on-one? You saw what happened in the first test, we couldn't even hit him once. So why have us try again for some bells unless he wants for us to try to get the bells as a team? Naruto explained. I see, that makes sense. Alright, I'm in but we'll need Sakura's help as well. Sasuke said. He still hasn't shown any openings. Sakura thought. Hey, Sakura, Naruto said behind her, startling the girl. Naruto-kun, Sasuke, what are you guys doing here? Shouldn't you be trying to get the bells? Sakura asks. Sakura, listen to me. This test is about teamwork and we need to work together to get the bells. Naruto explains. But there's only two bells. Wouldn't one of us go back anyway? Sakura asked. That's not the true purpose of this test. He's only testing us in order to see if we can work as a team. Why do you think we were put in teams of 3? Because that is how it's always been. Naruto explains. Which means that the two bells are just a ploy to try and divide us and not make us see the true purpose behind his test. Sakura says, realizing what was going on. Yes, so thus we need to come up with a plan to beat this guy, and that's where you come in. Naruto said to Sakura. You want me to create a plan? Sakura asked. Yes, I do. You're the smartest of us 3 and thus we need your intelligence to come up with a plan. Naruto asked. Alright then, here's the plan. Sakura grinned. Kakashi continued to read his book until he saw Sasuke standing in front of him. It looks like you're ready to try and take the bell from me, right Sasuke? Kakashi said as he puts his book back into the pouch. Sasuke then made some seals and then. Fuden. Kei's Haoshi no Jutsu. Wind element. Wind wave pressure. Sasuke yelled out and shot a wind blast from his palm. A wind attack. But Sasuke isn't. Kakashi said mentally as he avoided the wind attack, only to find himself bound to the cherry blossom tree once again. Sakura's genjutsu. Kai. Kakashi thought and cancelled the genjutsu, only to find his bells missing and in the hands of Sasuke, with Sakura and the detransformed Naruto next to him, all smirking. I see you guys figured out the concept behind this test. You should be proud, not many have in the past. But tell me something, who came up with the plan? Kakashi asked. I did. I knew you wouldn't expect Sasuke to use a wind ninjutsu, so I had Naruto transform into Sasuke to throw you off long enough to use my genjutsu on you, and by the time you would cancel it, Sasuke would be able to use his speed to dash in and get the bells from you. Sakura explained. Excellent plan, Sakura. As of now, we are officially Team 7. I want you guys to go get some rest because starting tomorrow, we're starting missions. Kakashi says. Yada. We did it. Good job. Sakura and Inner Self said, while the two boys smirked. I have a feeling this team is going to be something special. Kakashi said as he and the rest of his team walked off the training grounds, as they were about to start on their new adventures. Ohio, Mina. Kakashi greeted his team, only to get beat up by his students. Why? Kakashi asked as he groaned in pain. That's what you get for being 3 hours late. The genins yelled angrily at their sensei. Minutes later, Kakashi is back on his feet, recovered from his injuries. Okay guys, today we are going to do our first mission. Kakashi said. Finally, the three genins said, so sensei, what kind of mission is it? Sakura asks. You'll see. Kakashi said. The quiet of the Konoha forest was disturbed by the slight whisper of displaced air as Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura darted from tree to tree. All three genin wore a headpiece radio and were stalking an elusive foe. A short distance away, Kakashi sat in the mission command center, aka a clearing with a big rock he could sit on to read his porn, and contacted his subordinates. What's the distance to the target? Kakashi asked. 5 meters, I'm ready anytime. Sasuke said. Okay. Go. Kakashi ordered. All three genin ran from their hiding places to pounce on their target, which tried to get away. After scratching him many times, Sasuke was able to get the target. Ribbon on the left ear, are you sure this is the target, Tora? Asked Kakashi over the radio. Yeah, it's him or it better be. Growled Sasuke as he was pissed that he had to do this mission and so were the others. Good. Lost pet, Tora. Search mission complete. Said Kakashi before he slipped his book back into its carrying pouch and appeared next to his students in a cloud of smoke for the walk back to Konoha. Team 7 could only stare at Tora in sympathy as the cat was hugged by its owner Madame Shijimi, the wife of the Fire Country daimyo. Oh, my cute little Tora-chan. I was so worried. Cooed the lady as she practically strangled the cat. No wonder it ran away, the genins all thought. Okay, for your next mission, you are to go and babysit an elder's grandson, shopping in the neighboring village, and help with the potato digging, Iruka said. You're serious? Naruto said. What's wrong, Naruto? Iruka asked. Oh no, nothing, it's wrong. It's just that you know we as shinobis should be taking on more serious matters as hunting down traitors, helping protect someone. I mean, it wouldn't bode so well for Konoha if they make their genins do plant work and chores. I mean, unless now you can hurt people or kill them using chores and gardening or even create techniques from them. Naruto said. Naruto, stop being such a smart ass for once. Iruka said. I agree with Naruto. I mean, we're shinobis, not butlers or nannies. We need tougher missions than that. Sasuke said. Naruto, Sasuke, listen to me. These missions are perfectly designed genins like you. Iruka argued. That's ridiculous. We're shinobis, not servants, and as shinobis, we protect and defend our village and kill our enemies, not doing remedial chores. Naruto barked back. Listen, Naruto. These types of missions are there to instill maturity in genins, and help you learn how to work as a team. Also, These missions are ranked by skill and D-class missions are perfect for genins since you are not experienced as well as chunins or junins, who take higher level missions. The Hokage explained. I understand your reasoning on this and I don't disagree. All I'm saying is that we already proved that we can work flawlessly as a team during Kakashi's Bell test and our reports show that our skills are more than enough for taking higher missions. All I'm asking is that you give us another type of mission so we can prove ourselves as shinobis, and babysitting will not prove it. Naruto said, as he was now facing the Hokage face to face with a very serious look. He's right, and to be honest, I never liked the whole system much. It can deter someone's growth with ease and also, they have to learn the true workings of the life of shinobi early so they can advance further. Kakashi said. The Hokage sighed as he realized he was defeated and then started to look at the stack of papers until he pulled one out. Alright, Kakashi, I will give you a chance for your team to prove yourself with this C-rank mission. Hokage said, and Sakura, Sasuke and Naruto all smiled as they now had their chance to prove themselves. It's a protection mission for a certain individual. The Hokage said to the shinobis and then turned his head to the door, you can come in now. He said, and thick-set older man wearing a large backpack with a towel around his neck and a bottle of some alcoholic beverage in his hand enters. Oh great, now we can get to protect an alcoholic. That's the way to help out genins, help them protect them someone who drinks a lot so that way they can become alcoholics as well. Naruto said. This is the protection I'm going to get. Huh, like some brats are going to protect me, especially the short one. The man said. Looks who's talking. You're the one who comes here smelling like piss, ass and alcohol. I may be short but at least I don't smell like garbage. And on top of that, you're holding a bottle of sake and drinking it in front of 3 12-year-olds. Hokage-sama, if we're going to protect this man then you might as well put us down as future alcoholics. Naruto said. I'm not an alcoholic, I'm super expert bridge builder Tazuna and will be expecting you to provide me super protection until I get back to my country and complete the bridge. The old man yelled. I swore I heard someone say something. Naruto said as if he did not know who said what. Damn that kid, life isn't fair. Tazuna said as he was crying in the corner. It's alright Tazuna-san, you're not the only one he's done this. Uruka said, comforting the bridge builder. Victim number 512. Damn, I'm just too good. Naruto thought as he grinned. He's even worse than sensei. Kakashi thought, alright, team, I expect everyone to be outside the gates by noon and bring all your ninja equipment. Kakashi said before poofing away. As ridiculous as this sound, I'm quite excited that we're leaving the village. Naruto said as he looked at his surroundings as they were standing near the gate. Is this your first time outside the village? Tazuna asked. Yes it is, and that's why I'm excited about it, and also the mission. Naruto explained. Glad to see everyone is here. Kakashi said as he arrived. Holy crap, you're on time. Who the hell are you and what have you done with Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked. Can't you just stop for once? Kakashi begged. Nope. Naruto replied with a smirk. Let's just get going everyone. Kakashi said, depressed, and everyone started to walk toward their way to wave. Tazuna-san, may I ask you a question? Sakura asked the bridge builder. Yes, what is it? Tazuna replied. You're from Wave, right? Sakura asks. Yeah, so, the bridge builder answered. Kakashi-sensei, are there ninjas in Wave? Sakura asked her sensei. No, there are no ninjas in Wave, but there are in most other countries. The culture and customs may be different but most countries do have hidden villages and ninjas. Kakashi said, answering the girl's question. To the many countries of the continent, the existence of a hidden village means military power. This is how they hold and maintain advantages on each other. But it's not that the villages rule the countries, they merely stand equal with the country's government. A small island country like the Wave Country doesn't receive much interference from the other countries and does not require a shinobi village. Within the many shinobi villages like Mist, Leaf, Cloud, Sand, and Stone are large and powerful and thus are referred to as the Great Five Shinobi Countries. And thus, these are the only countries whose leaders are referred to as Kages. The 5 Kages are Hokage, Mizukage, Kazekage, Tsuchikage, and Reikage, and they reign over thousands of shinobis in the world. Kakashi explained to the others. Wow. So it looks like Naruto-kun's dream is much bigger than he lets on. Sakura thought as she looked at the blonde. And also, the Kages are the strongest ninjas of their village and have no equal. Naruto added, and if one truly noticed it, they would have heard a hint of pride in his voice. However, all this doesn't really matter for this mission since this is a C-rank mission and thus there aren't going to be any ninjas to face. Kakashi said. Are you serious? Damn, that sucks. I won't be able to test my skills then. Sasuke said, clearly pissed. I wouldn't be too sure about that, Sasuke. Naruto thought as he noticed the look on Tezuna's face when Kakashi said that there weren't going to be any ninjas after them. As they continued to walk, they passed by a puddle to which Kakashi and Naruto noticed. A puddle in the middle of a dry road. Are you guys fucking stupid or what? Naruto yelled out. You're dead, kid. 2 voices yelled. Then, a ninja wearing a breathing mask, dressed in all black with a headband of the Mist Village and a large metal gauntlet on each arm with a chain connecting them both, surfaced from the water and then another one leapt from a tree and then they both headed toward Kakashi and ripped him to pieces in an instant with their chains. 1 down. The bigger one said. 2 to go. The smaller said, finishing the other's sentence and then headed for the Genins and Tezuna when suddenly, they found themselves in a field of flower petals. A genjutsu. The 2 said as they got cancelled the genjutsu. They try to locate the group when suddenly Sasuke is seen in the air and tosses a kunai at them, pinning their chains to the tree behind them. Sasuke then disappears and reappears slightly above the brothers, and delivers a double Ryu Senpu, hitting the brothers in the face and knocking back to the tree. Both brothers recover and disengage their chains, taking the young boy by surprise, and rush toward him with the intent to kill him when Kakashi suddenly appears and takes them out by clotheslining them. I could have handled it myself, Kakashi-sensei. Sasuke fumed. Yeah, you could, but I couldn't let you guys have all the fun. By the way, Sakura, nice job with the genjutsu. Kakashi said, praising the blonde. Thank you, sensei. Sakura grinned. So you were able to read our movements and hence why you guys planned to fool us. How? The 2 ninjas asked. Simple. It was the puddle. Like Naruto yelled out, it hasn't rained for many days, yet why is there a puddle in the middle of the road? That led to us figuring out that we were going to be ambushed. Naruto noticed it as well and quickly communicated with his teammate to make a plan and then used that smart mouth of his to provoke you guys off into attacking us. Kakashi explained. But even if the Genins could take care of themselves, why didn't you just take care of them yourself like you just did? Tezuna asked. You're right, I could have ended it instantly, but there was something I needed to find out. I need to find out who or what were they after to begin with. Kakashi explained. What do you mean? Tezuna asked. Meaning, were they after you or one of us? Kakashi began to say and then continues, our mission was to simply protect you from thieves and gangs. We haven't heard that shinobis are after you. Our mission was to protect you until you completed your bridge, but now, this has become a B-rank mission. Kakashi explained. Tezuna remained quiet as he knew he had lied about the mission, so Kakashi continued. If it was known that ninjas were after you, this mission would have been set as the more expensive B-rank mission. I'm sure you had a reason, but lying about a mission causes difficult problems, and we are now operating outside the rules. Kakashi explained. I lied because my country is super poor, And if I told you about the ninjas, then this mission would have become too expensive for me to pay. If you guys want to return, that's fine by me. I guess this is what I deserve for causing so much trouble. Tazuna said as he felt ashamed of what he did, but then Naruto started to chuckle, startling everyone. There's no way in hell we're going back just because you lied, drunkie. Besides, this mission looks more and more interesting. Naruto smiled. Naruto, this isn't a game, there's a risk we might face tougher opponents out there. Kakashi countered. I knew that there was a possibility like this, but that's exactly why I want a higher ranked mission, so I can prove myself. Also, as a future Hokage, I can't let an innocent man's dream go down the drain just because of unknown dangers, even though he is a smelly alcoholic and liar. Naruto said firmly. Did he really have to insult me? Tazuna thought with a sweat drop behind his head. Besides, I know how to heal wounds and I can easily help with the injuries in case we get wounded. Sakura added. Come on, sensei. Gives us a chance. We did prove ourselves so far in this mission, and going back now would make us look like cowards, and if there's one thing I'm not, it's a coward. Sasuke said, finishing the genins, opposition to their sensei. Okay, we'll finish this mission. Kakashi sighed. Why are these genins so stubborn? He then added mentally. Thank you very much, all of you. Tazuna said politely. Like we said, we're not going to let you down, old man. Naruto said. That kid, for some reason, I can sense that there is more to him than just his smart mouth. Tazuna thought as he looked at the blonde genin. Definitely like his father. Kakashi said mentally before he started to walk, with the others behind him. About this mission, you're right, this job is outside your duties, but I need to tell you that Super Dangerous Man is after my life. Tazuna said. Super Dangerous Man? Who? Kakashi asks. You probably heard his name before. Tazuna said as he sighed before continuing. The wealthy shipping magnate, a man named Gato. Tazuna revealed. Huh, Gato. From that Gato company. He is said to be one of the world's few extremely wealthy people. Kakashi says, shocked that a man this wealthy would be involved in this mission. Yes, he officially runs a large shipping company, but secretly sells illegal drugs and other items using ninjas and gang members to take over businesses and countries. He's a very nasty man. It was about a year ago when he set his sight on Wave Country. Through money and violence, he quickly took control of the country's shipping industries. Gato now has a monopoly on all business traffic in the country. The only thing he has to fear is the completion of the bridge. Tazuna explained. So I guess this is why Gato is sending these ninjas after you. To try and stop you from building that bridge. Sakura says. Oh well, we already accepted that we are going to protect you until you complete your bridge, and that's that. Kakashi says. Thank you. Tazuna nodded, and then the group resumed their way toward Wave. An hour later, the group is heading toward Wave in a boat that is being rowed by a man wearing a straw triangular hat like Tazuna. So that's the bridge, huh? No wonder he wants it completed. Naruto said as he and the others marveled at the nearly completed bridge. Tazuna, it looks like we've avoided detection so far, but just in case, we'll take the route that vegetation. It will make harder for them to stop us. The man says. Thanks. Tazuna said. The boat goes through a tunnel and then stops at the dock. Tazuna and Team 7 get off the boat and wave goodbye to the man who helped them get here before continuing on their way through the forest. While in the forest, Naruto throws a shuriken at one of the bushes, surprising everyone. Why did you do that for, Naruto? Sasuke asks. I thought I heard something. Sorry. Naruto said. Let me check just to be sure. Kakashi said as he knew Naruto wouldn't try to do something as reckless or stupid as blindly throwing a shuriken. He walks up to the bushes and sees that the shuriken struck a Snow White rabbit right in the head. Wait a minute, why is that rabbit's skin so white when it's spring? The skin of rabbits are always brown in the spring, not white, Sakura asked as they noticed the rabbit's snow-white skin and read about them in one of her books. That's because the enemy was keeping it in a cage to use it for body switching. Which means the enemy is already here. Everyone, be on your guard. Kakashi added to Sakura's observation. Suddenly, a huge sword is seen flying toward Kakashi and the others, who fortunately were able to duck it. The sword ends up stuck on a tree and right on top of it was the masked man with gray pants and black armguards and shin guards and a mist headband. Well, if isn't the hidden mist's missing nin, Momoichi Zabuza. Kakashi said as he revealed the figure's personality. Alright guys, I want all of you to stay back, he's on a whole different level compared to the others. Kakashi told his team. And you are Hataki, the Lightning Fang, Kakashi. Sorry, but the old man is mine. Zabuza said. Lightning Fang, the Genins exclaimed. You kids didn't know. Your sensei here was an upper A-class shinobi in our bingo book during my time as Anbu in the Mist. Zabuza said. So our sensei is actually a badass. Sasuke smirked. And here I thought you only had chronic tardiness. But wait, you have chronic tardiness and yet you have a reputation as a badass, which can only mean one thing. Kakashi sensei, you're a living conundrum. Naruto said. Why couldn't he be more like Kushina? Kakashi thought. Ninpu. Kurigakur no Jutsu, ninja arts, silent mist technique. Zabuza said, and then the whole field was engulfed in a very thick mist. What's going on? This mist is so thick. Sakura said. This isn't good at all. This technique is specialized for silent killing, which Zabuza was an expert of. You won't even know you're dead until you are. You guys better be careful. Kakashi explains, alerting them of a possible attack. The mist is getting thicker. Naruto said as he noticed it getting thicker. 8 choices. Zabuza started to say. Where the hell is he? Sasuke asked as he was getting more and more nervous. Liver, lungs, spine, clavicle vein, neck, brain, kidneys, heart. Which one should I go after? Zabuza asked. Kakashi then made a seal and emitted some of his chakra in order to clear out the mist. As soon as he did, they were all hit by an intense killing intent. This killing intent, it's even worse than those of the villagers. It's the killing intent of a man who truly wants to kill for the simple pleasure of it and is fully capable of. Naruto thought. Don't worry, Naruto. I won't let any of my comrades die before I do. Kakashi said as he tried to reassure the young man. Then, Zabuza appeared in between the Genins and Tazuna. It's that so, Zabuza said, shocking the Genins and Tazuna. He swings his sword, but before his sword could come down and kill the Genins and Tazuna, his hand was held back by Kakashi's right hand, and with his left hand, Kakashi put a kunai near Zabuza's neck. Don't move, Kakashi said. Now I understand. You left a clone behind to fool me by saying those words while meanwhile, you were hiding waiting for an opening. Zabuza said. And it wasn't so hard to do considering I had used my Raiko Haragame, lightning wires, to track you down. Kakashi said. Not bad, Zabuza said, but then smirked before turning into water. Mizu Bushin, Kakashi thought. Kakashi quickly evaded to his left as Zabuza swung his sword down and struck the ground. Zabuza then brought his sword back up and swung again, but this time, Kakashi blocked it with some sort of fang blade in the form of lightning. A chakra fang made of lightning, must be a type of chakra specialization. I'm impressed that it's that durable. Zabuza said and then kicked Kakashi in the stomach, knocking him back about 6 meters with his right foot. Kakashi sensei, the Genins exclaimed as they saw their sensei being knocked back. I'm okay. You guys just stay away from the mist and protect Tazuna-san at all costs. Meanwhile, I'm going to take this guy down, Kakashi said as he stood back up. The Genins nodded and got as far as the mist as possible. Take me down. And how are you going to do that? Zabuza asked. By doing this, ninjutsu tokushitsu, ninjutsu specialization, Raiko Ukami, lightning wolf. Kakashi said and then performed a series of seals and then his hands were covered in silver gauntlets and his foot in silver greaves. Wolf Edge. Kakashi yelled as he leapt into the air, performed an overhead kick with his right leg and unleashed a powerful silver air blade that headed for Zabuza, but Zabuza was able to dodge it only for Kakashi to dash straight for him and throw a right straight. Zabuza blocked the attack, but then Kakashi discharged electricity from his fist and knocked Zabuza about 10 meters back. So that's your ninjutsu specialization, huh, Kakashi? Well then, let me show you mine. Zabuza said and then did a number of seals before putting his left hand on his blade, which then radiated with chakra. Awaken, Kiri Kiri, Mist Executioner. Zabuza said, and then the chakra surrounding the sword was absorbed into the sword. The sword didn't change shape, so what did it do? Kakashi asked. It's no time to stare, Kakashi. Zabuza yelled and then swung his sword as wide as he could, and then suddenly, a large explosion was made as trees fell down. When the smoke cleared, there was a huge trail on the ground, about 5 meters wide, and Kakashi was on the ground with blood on his arms and legs. You're god lucky, Kakashi, but the next slash will be the end for you. Zabuza said. Even if you do kill me, my team is already way gone by now. Kakashi said as he slowly got back up. That sword of his, it was able to emit such level of chakra, could that be its ability? Kakashi thought. That would be true if it wasn't for the fact that I'm not alone. In fact, my partner should be killing them by now. Zabuza said with a smirk. Man, this sucks. We're standing here doing nothing while Kakashi-sensei is getting all the action. Sasuke said, fuming. Are you insane? Didn't you hear the large explosion just a few minutes ago? If it wasn't for Kakashi's warnings, we might have been caught in that. Sakura said. She's right, and besides, they're way out of our league. This battle is pure Junin level. Naruto replied. It looks like Zabuza-san is fighting someone tough. An unknown voice said, and our Genins and Tazuna turned around and saw someone with dark blue hair, a wolf Oni mask, gray vest, white shirt, gray pants, black fingerless gloves, and sandals standing about 3 meters behind them. Who the hell are you? Sasuke asked. Me. I'm just someone who wants to play. The person said, and from their voice, the person was identified as a boy. He then disappeared and reappeared behind Tazuna with his katana drawn out. You're dead, old man. The boy said as he was about to slash through Tazuna, only to find himself surrounded by petals. A genjutsu. The boy said and quickly cancelled out of the genjutsu and saw that his target was in the hands of the genins, who moved about 5 meters away from the boy. Nice genjutsu. The boy said. So you must be with Zabuza, right? Sakura asked. Of course I am, though you should be less worried about who I'm with and be more worried about how you're going to survive against me. From the last event, I can easily deduce that only one of you can keep up with me 100% of the time. In fact, the only reason why one of you was able to land a genjutsu on me was because that person, and they must have warned you when I was about to reappear so that you could use the genjutsu. The boy said. He's right. That speed of his was so great that it was only thanks to Sasuke that we were able to locate him behind Tazuna-san, and also our quick teamwork that allowed us to save Tazuna. Naruto thought as he gritted his teeth. Since it looks like I have to get through you guys, let's get started. The boy said and then disappeared and was behind the genins and in front of Tazuna. The boy then decapitated Tazuna, only for the latter to turn into a cloud of smoke. Kaden. Gukyaku no Jutsu. Sasuke said and then unleashed his fireball right at the boy, who instantly moved out of the way and reappeared about 5 meters from the team. You've hidden the old man as soon as you performed the genjutsu, didn't you? The boy said in an angry tone. Of course we did. Our priority is to protect Tazuna-san, and the best way to do so against an opponent like you is to hide him somewhere safe and take you out first. Naruto answered with a smirk. Hey Naruto, let me handle him. Sasuke said. Are you crazy, Sasuke? This guy is way faster than any of us. We need to work as a team. Naruto objected. Naruto-kun is right, and besides, we outnumber him 3-1. Let's use that fact to our advantage. Sakura added on. I know, but listen. During our first exchange, I was the only one able to keep up with him for the most part, hence how I was able to warn the two of you and thus set up that genjutsu, remember? What I'm saying is for you two to let me go at him one-on-one, and when there is a clear opening, hit him with everything you've got. Sasuke said. That would be more effective if we try your way. Okay Sasuke, we're counting on you. Naruto said. Sasuke smirked and then walked up to the boy and stood about 3 meters from him and then got into his fighting stance. Oro, you're going to fight me one-on-one. You must be crazy. Just because you can see me doesn't mean you can fight at the same level of speed as I can. The boy said. Crazy I am then, but enough of this talking, let's get right down to the main course. Sasuke said and then performed his Hyakuyaku technique to disappear. He's fast, the boy said as he then located Sasuke in midair. Dragon Cutter. Sasuke yelled as he then came down on the boy with his split kick, but the boy countered by raising his left leg upwards and stopping Sasuke. The boy then reappeared behind Sasuke and drew out his sword and swung it at Sasuke, who then turned into a log. A substitution, the boy said. Fuden. Kei's Haoshi no Jutsu. Wind element. Wind wave pressure, Naruto yelled and unleashed his shot of wind from his right hand at the boy, who then disappeared to avoid the blast. Ryu Senpuu. Sasuke yelled as he was behind the boy, and before the latter could react, he was knocked back by Sasuke's kick. Damn it, so they're using two fronts to attack me. That boy has the close range front and then the other two behind as the mid-long range front. If I avoid the former, I get attacked by the latter and vice versa. And because he can keep up with my speed, he can easily alert the other two in case of an attack. Che. Yes, I have no choice but to use that technique. The boy thought. Okay boys and girls, it's time for me to take you guys seriously. The boy said. Take us seriously. The three genin said. Yep, and I'll do so with this technique that I like to call Shunchi, Flash Earth, which goes like this. The boy said, and then in an instant was beside Sasuke. What are you looking at? The boy said, and it was then that Sasuke and the others realized he had moved. He moved. When? Sasuke thought. One down, the boy began to say, and then a slash across Sasuke's chest appeared, drawing out blood. 2 to go. The boy finished as Sasuke fell to the ground unconscious. Sasuke. Sakura yelled as she saw her fallen teammate. We're doomed, Tazuna said. He looks like he's the same age as us, and yet, his fighting level is just so much higher than ours. Naruto thought as he was trembling. That was Sakura's voice. Did his partner already get to Sasuke? If that's so, then I must finish this now. Kakashi thought. Dragon Cannon. Zabuza thought as he spun his sword and then thrust his sword forward and unleashed a dragon-headed chakra wave at Kakashi. Kakashi saw the wave coming and ran toward it and kicked his right foot upward to counter the dragon wave and was able to kick it upward and away from him. He deflected my dragon cannon. Zabuza thought with a shocked look on his face. Raiko Kami Ken, Lightning God Fist. Kakashi yelled as he then dashed toward Zabuza and punched him with his right fist, electrocuting him. Zabuza then fell down on his knees and began to pant heavily. Still alive after taking such an attack, huh? It seems I'll have to finish you off another way. Kakashi said as he then did a number of seals and then generated a huge amount of electric chakra in his right hand. Such much chakra. Zabuza thought as he slowly got back up. Reikiri, Lightning Blade. Kakashi yelled and was about to thrust his attack when suddenly, Zabuza was received 2 needles in the neck. What in the world? Kakashi said as he stopped his attack as he was surprised at what just happened. Suddenly, A person with two long braids framing the side of their face and their hair tied up under a small cap and wearing a white mask with red stripes appeared next to Zabuza. Sorry, but I cannot allow you to kill him, the person said, and from their voice, they sounded like a girl, and before Kakashi could do anything, she grabbed Zabuza and disappeared. Damn it, he got away, Kakashi thought as he fell on his knees, panting heavily. Now, time to finish you guys off, the boy said as he walked up to Naruto and the others when he suddenly stopped as the girl who had grabbed Zabuza reappeared next to the boy. Zabuza lost. It's time for us to retreat, the girl said. Oh really? Oh well, see you guys later, the boy said to our heroes as he and the girl then disappeared. Are you guys alright? Kakashi asked as he arrived on the scene. Only Sasuke got injured, but it's not a fatal wound. What about you, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked. I'll be alright, and besides, I've taken worse than this. Right now, our first priority is get to Tazuna's place so we can rest and then regroup on how to handle these three, because something tells me an even fiercer battle is about to take place, Kakashi said.